and also myself with just a little bit of laryngitis, so perhaps not as much chat this afternoon. Some may say that's not a bad idea, but the team's on the field this afternoon with Warrington, the visitors, but here come the Cougars. It's a packed Cougar Park, not a space to be had anywhere in the ground. Complete sellout over 2 weeks ago, this Regal Trophy quarter-final fixture. The Cougars side this afternoon, Andre Stoop at full-back, Andy Ayres, Nick Pinkney, Simon Irving, Keith Dixon in the three quarters. Martin Wood, Chris Robinson at half-back, Ian Gately, Jason Ramshaw and Steve Hall in the front row, Darren Fleary, Grant Gorey and Gareth Cochran in the back three for Keighley. The two substitutes, David Larder and Phil Stevenson. And for Warrington, the fullback, Jonathan Davis. The three quarters, Mark Foster, Chris Rudd, Jonathan Roper and Justin Harris. The half-backs, Francis Maloney and Greg Mackey. And in the forwards, Gary Tees, Takari Barrow, Bruce Maguire, Gary Sanderson, Paul Cullen and Kelly Shelford. The man in the middle this afternoon, Mr. John Holsworth from Kippax near Leeds. Certainly seeing our share of Grade 1 referees here these last few weeks. Top class Grade 1s, I hasten to say. Mr. Holsworth just introduces the Keighley mascot there, the little fella, to Greg Mackey, as Steve Hall now comes up to take part in the pre-match bits and pieces. Certainly a big game for the Cougars this afternoon.
Well done, Daniel.
Warrington currently lying 7th in the First Division, and a bit of a rift, a bit of a gap appeared in the First Division, the top 7 or 8 breaking away from the rest, and this really is going to be a test for the Cougars today.
Go for it, Daniel.
Not only are they going to know what First Division opposition's like, they've already sampled that with Sheffield, but they're going to know what top class First Division is like. Warrington have won the toss, and if anything to be learned from the game when Warrington played Wigan a week ago, Wigan just left Greg Mackey alone and waited for the runners to come. We wait and see whether Keighley adopt similar tactics, because on that Mackey was very ineffective. Well, the man on the tannoy is winding the crowd up as Robinson starts for the Cougars. Down there to Mackey through the scrum half's legs. Mark Foster on that far wing, just inside the Warrington 20. Ball coming inside, that looks like Gary Tees, the number 8 for Warrington, as the ball comes out onto this wing side. Looked a little bit forward there, did that pass from number 12 Paul Cullen, and quickly up and plays the ball. Kelly Shelford gets the ball into the centre of the park there for Bruce Maguire with the headgear as the last tackle's called by Mr. Holsworth. Howling gale here as it's blowing down the field. The kick through for the chase. Andre Stoop takes that ball from Chris Rudd. And really, it's a long time since I've felt wind like this at Cougar Park, and I mean wind from the atmosphere and nowhere else. Stevie Hall diving underneath the attempted tackle there from Maguire, gets up, plays the ball. Certainly set off at a fair old pace as this quarter-final match. Robinson decides to go the opposite direction, but Maguire catches him on the shoulders, brings him to ground 10 metres inside his own half. The last tackle called by referee Holsworth, and it's Keith Dixon to apply the left boot to that ball. Jonathan Davis back from injury, and will certainly he likes to attack around the flanks, and it'll be a testing time for the Keighley flankers. By that I mean the centre and wings. There's Roper just short of the halfway line before being tackled. Tees working his way up this Cougar Park slope. Kookaburra Maguire gets the ball in there, and Cullen tackled. Out then to Davis, the threatened kick coming from Davis, but he sets off on a run to the right-hand side, kicks back towards the goal. Andre stooped there to take the ball and work his way, part the way that is anyway, back towards that 20-metre line. Pinckney tackled as Ramshaw finds Gately, but the number 8 loses the ball. First knock-on will count there. So Warrington scrum then just inside the Keighley 20. Out to the loose forward, on to standoff for Maloney, and it's loose forward Shelford. Gets the ball out to Cullen. Well, the ball just touched on the way through there by Jonathan Roper. Istian Harris on the end of the loose pass, but Mr. Holsworth indicating that Roper just palmed the ball with the hand as it went through. Robinson then feeds that scrum out to Ayres. Shelford out of that pack mighty quickly there, and it's Hall. Tackled by the combination there of Maguire and Cullen. Just wondering whether this shed of ours here on top of the Scratton shed is going to last for the entire game. Certainly rattling about something cruel around our ears in this howling gale. As Fleary, first real running chance that Darren Fleary's had, a couple of metres from the halfway line. Robinson puts the kick over the top. Davis is going to have to feel that ball. It's inch perfect into the in-goal area. Martin Wood gets there, as does Jason Ramshaw. Davis tackled on his own 10-metre line. Forster just short of that 20. Maguire. Belting shoulder charge there by Ian Gately on Maguire. The two Australian forwards completely off the ground, but no damage done to either, but certainly plenty of contest as Greg puts that ball into touch. No, he doesn't, in fact. Andre Stoop. Well, Andre Stoop normally doesn't give that sort of a ball out. This time he did, and Ayres couldn't take it. Into touch, Keighley under pressure. Mackie then on to Maloney. Maloney through the hole. Oh, and he's in. Is Maloney, is he? No, not just inches short there, but Mackie now gets the ball out there to the far side of the field. It's Jonathan Davis in support, a yard from that Cougars line. Rudd gets the ball out, back to Mackie, out onto the wing there to Foster. Back into Mackie again. This is Barlow. Barlow's going, Barlow scores.
I try that to Warrington, Marlow.
Well, I think the PA gave that out as Barlow's try, the hooker. We take his word for it. But that try then coming just 6.5 minutes into this first half of this quarter-final, and certainly Warrington have enjoyed by far and above the majority of possession in this first half. Well, Davis certainly having a lot of trouble with that pile of sand to settle the ball on. Certainly at some stage this is going to have to happen. What's there now, the ball's going to have to be held. Referee Hoseley just waves the clock back on. In fact, it's ball struck the upright there. It's certainly had another look at it. Did Davis. Felt it might just have been going to make that gap between the uprights. It didn't. So 4 points to 0 the scoreline reads at the moment in favour of Warrington. And even the ball having difficulty being settled on the halfway line as Robinson prepares to restart for the Cougars down towards the bottom corner. Mackie feels the ball, but the Warrington player there, Maguire, losing his footing in the sand. And certainly Warrington spreading this ball very, very quickly and offloading as well in the tackle. Euston Harris now making his way back in field onto Tees. Tees straighten things up towards the halfway line. Barlow acting half-back. Maguire the first receiver, but not really. Mackie gets it out this side to loose forward Shelford. And still being allowed to offload in the tackle there as Cullen gets away from Hall. Darren Fleary though wrapping up Cullen in the tackle. This is Sanderson, the number 11 for Warrington. Mackie calling the play to the right. The Cougars' defence is stretched to that side. Kel Shelford gets the ball out there to the number 3, Chris Rudd, but he's well tackled in that corner. But I think that possibly Warrington feel that the Cougars' defence is a little weak on that side, and certainly have played to that side the vast majority of this game so far. Where the try came as Steve Hall now tries to break out of defence, 25 metres from his own line, and injured. Looks like the knee, and it certainly looks serious. Wanting the stretcher, the Paul Cullen calling for the stretcher straight away. And certainly Steve Hall in some great amount of trouble there. Never a good sight when players are injured, and it's a very sad sight indeed when that sort of thing happens. Steve wriggling to get free of the tackle, the knee twisted, it may well have popped, I don't know. Player never moved at all. He's laid down on the stretcher now, Steve Hall. This will be a great loss to Keighley. Terrible loss to the side. Stevie Hall, of course, the captain, and the leads by example from the front. Craig Mackie just going up and consoling Steve. But it's also a great one as far as players are concerned, from taking the mind away from the job in hand, which of course is playing. In fact, worries now that this stretcher that's out there is not sufficiently strong enough. it's only a loop stretcher, it's not a rigid one. So then I think it will be Phil Stevenson who's come on. It is indeed to replace the injured Steve Hall. Gareth Cochran just waits for the referee to allow play to start once the player is clear of the field. Ramshaw then gets play back underway as Ian Gately gets towards the 30-metre line. Wins the penalty from Maguire for being assisted back down to the ground. So Dixon to place that ball over the top of us. And Ramshaw. Grant Dorey. Ramshaw. On to Ian Gately. Gately 30 metres out as Robinson now runs across, looks for Stevenson. Stevenson takes the ball in, but certainly well met there by those Warrington defenders. Ramshaw on to Robinson, finds Martin Wood. Nick Pinkney out to Ayres, but Ayres got nowhere there at all to go. Given the ball in a no-go situation as Robinson now finds Dorey. Dorey straightens things up inside the 10 as it's the last tackle indicated now by Mr. Holdsworth. Ramshaw dummies to the right, but the gap half opened in the Warrington defence there, but closed almost as quickly as it had opened as Ramshaw decided to go in on his own. Maguire now brings the ball away for Warrington. This is Maguire again, linking in the line with Shelford. Shelford spins in the tackle, gets away. And Mackey offloads in the tackle there to Barlow, but Barlow tackled on that 30-metre line. Shelford, lovely forward pass there. Well spotted by Mr. Holdsworth. I don't think anybody could have missed that one though, in all fairness. It was so far forward, almost as far forward as the one at Huddersfield last week when the man may well have been in a deliberately offside position. Cochran from the base of the scrum as Robinson takes on Mackey, but the Warrington Australian scrum half. Oh, and well, first of all, Ramshaw nearly knocked on, and then from not a good pass, and the pass consequently to Martin Wood was equally poor, and Martin not able to hang on to it. So the other there gives Warrington the opportunity of building from their own half of the field up this slope. The referee just tells Martin Wood to get back on side, which he did. Standoff Maloney tackled still 10 metres short of the halfway line. Rudd goes on his own after dummying to come to this close side on the halfway line. Referee Holdsworth calls the Keighley defence back. Gary Tees 10 metres inside the Keighley half. Quick play the ball there as Barlow goes on his own. Shelford over the far side onto the touchline there to Mark Forster. Ball managed to be offloaded in the tackle. Trying to milk the penalty was Rudd. The referee says he dived as Mackey puts the ball in now to Maloney. Maloney into the arms of Dorey and Ramshaw and Maguire to Mackey. Warrington on the run now as the... Well, did it go? Yes, in fact it was... Andy Ayres had to take that one. It's a well-weighted kick there from Mackey. looked at the moment initially as though it might have been just a little bit too long, but he judged it almost to the inches. Ayres forced to take it and put a foot on the dead ball line as he did. Well, the arm touched the ball there. He was facing forward. Surely should have been a knock on. Christian Harris though, just inside the Cougars half. Shelford switches play back this side. Barlow inside there to Cullen. And Barlow again, on to Maguire this time. Maguire drives into the Keighley 20. Barlow acting half back onto Mackie. Out then to... Oh, and that was forward as well, but the ball struck Shelford as Stevenson. Well, certainly a number of these passes, final passes from Warrington, are forward. Referee certainly spotted a couple of them so far. As Robinson now on to Fleary. Fleary drives him, but straight into the waiting arms of Barlow and tees Gately. Eyes up the chances with Sanderson and Maguire, and tees as Robinson now finds Cochrane, but Cochrane not able to hit the gap. Robinson again onto Martin Wood. The chip over the top strikes the Warrington player, Mackie on the end of it. Feigning to go left and right, in the end having to settle for the tackle from Stevenson. Pinckney doing the tackling there on Foster as he worked his way over this side. Christian Harris on the halfway line. Barlow, Maguire finds Cullen. Cullen gets it out there to Roper. Roper offloads to Barlow, but Barlow tackled 30 metres clear. Cullen appeals to the referee for holding down as Mackie now with the ball. On to Maloney. Shelford gets the ball away through Davis, out onto the wing side there. Rudder acting half back then for this assault on the Cougars line by Warrington into the centre of the field. Ball lost there by Tees. The referee says it was all right. It's still the last tackle though, as the ball on the far side. Rudd puts it through. Stevenson dives for it and misses it. Fortunately, Ramshaw, ever awake to the situation, drops on that ball as Andre Stoop now breaks out of the Keighley 20-metre line area. Dixon just skips round the first one, but tackled 30 metres clear of his own line. Plays the ball to Ramshaw, on to Dory. Dory driving the ball in to the halfway line. The referee calls for the play to be released. Certainly Warrington not making the 10 on that occasion. The last tackle comes up, and the kick goes in for the corner, but in fact it's gone dead. Tap restart then for Keighley on the 20-metre line, as Barlow gets the ball onto Roper. Roper though tackled and driven back into his own 20-metre area, but loses the ball, allowed to get away with it, and that was good spotting by Grant Dory there. Immediately that ball went to release the player and went after the man who got the ball and tackled him. Martin Wood out to Davis. Davis tries to turn Andy Ayres inside out, but Ayres turned quickly and chased. Ball lost. First knock-on will count, indicated there by referee Holsworth with the finger in the air. And Davis linking in the line in with centre position as well as full-back, and Mackie dropping back to the full-back position on occasions. The two just juggling the positions on the field. Stoop, and there to Pinckney. Pinckney out to Dixon. Dixon in the space. Bobbing and weaving onto Irvine. Irvine's going to off straight forward. 15 metres from that Warrington line now. Dixon gives the ball out to Cochrane. Cochrane gets a slap round the face. He's going for the line, is Cochrane. Right in front of the Warrington post. It's Cochrane now with Dixon. On to Martin Wood. Martin Wood, well, he was going to give the ball out, but the support was a long way away from him. All stacked onto this side as Ramshaw to Robinson.
Inside to Gately, the big fella, half away from the first tackle, but brought to ground half a metre from the Warrington line. Ramshaw onto Robinson, but the advancing Warrington defender there, well up from that line. So far out, so quickly. Robinson had no option but to try to palm the ball on. Maguire it is, who's just receiving some attention there.
Ian Gately to the blood bin.
Ian Gately's going into the blood bin. It's David Ladd who'll be coming on to make the temporary replacement.
David Ladd.
Just on the 20-metre line then. Cullen attempts to go away, gets the ball away though in the tackle. In fact, it was Barlow, beg your pardon, that's Tees though, and Cullen at acting half-back. This is Sanderson, 15 metres from the halfway line. Referee Holzer calls the Keighley line back as Maguire loses the ball. Robinson skips it. Robinson being held on by the shirt there. Surely that should have been a penalty against Shelford. Has stooped now. Held on by the sleeve of his shirt there. Dixon going on his own, just a little shimmy to the right, but not able to get through. Ramshaw acting half-back to Robinson, on to Dory, Dory back to Robinson, on to Fleury. And Fleury hits the arm there of Maloney and Tees. Robinson puts the chip in there for the corner and causing all sorts of problems there where Warrington, as Robinson put that little kick through. Warrington player down here in the right hand corner. It looks like it might be Davis. Well, Davis then recovered, goes back to drop this ball out from underneath the post. Catches the wind as it comes towards the halfway line. Evades Nick Pinkney, but Andy Ayres takes it. Euston Harris does the tackling. Fleury now taking the ball into that Warrington 20-metre area. Ramshaw acting half-back, onto Ayres. Ayres drives towards the post. In fact, the Warrington defence standing back off Andy Ayres there. Certainly being laid all over again there as Robinson onto Wood, runs down with Robinson. Oh, and it evades everybody on the way through. Ball evaded each one of those four advancing Keighley players as it went through. Any one of them could have taken it and may have taken it. In the eventuality, none of them did. So Mackie then from the base of that scrum. Moving across quickly, Warrington onto Davis. Davis takes on the defence, turns inside every time, does Davis, always steps inside the man. Harris tackled there by Fleury and Stevenson. Barlow onto Sanderson. Sanderson hit in the middle of the field there by Jason Ramshaw, brought to ground just on the halfway line. Barlow gets the ball out to Shelford. Shelford back inside to Maguire, but Maguire's got slippery fingers this afternoon. That must be 3 or maybe 4 is spilled as Ayres goes on a journey across field. Gets away from the first tackler, but brought down there by Tees, just short of the halfway line. Doris straightening up, but Tees doing the tackling, assisted by Shelford. And Mackey, Ramshaw to Robinson, on to Stevenson, straightens up. But straight into the waiting arms of those Warrington forwards. Robinson finds Cochrane. Cochrane spins in the tackle, but Roper doing the finishing off. Grant Doris straightening up. Last one comes up, says Mr. Holsworth. And Robinson puts the ball high for the corner, for the chase. Who's under it? Who's got it? A little knock on there by Mackey, and Mackey just having a little bit of an altercation with Robinson. The two scrum halves being called out by referee Holsworth. No doubt Greg Mackey will have one or two words more to say than Chris Robinson. As it was just a very quick word by referee Holsworth to both of them. So then it's a Keighley scrum. Robinson, Mackey broke away quickly there, realised that Keighley were going down that short side. Robinson on to Cochrane. Cochrane straightens the run towards the post. Robinson on with the chip through again for the chase, and pushed into touch there by Harris. Into touch in goal. Ramshaw takes the ball over the shoulders of stooping support. Cochrane not able to take the ball. Cullen then tackled 30 metres out. Barlow goes, drives up towards the halfway line. And it's Maloney, gets the ball out to Tees, releases it there, but Shelford took his eye off. Certainly took his eye off that one, and Tees bounced there on Lardy. You see David Lardy shaking his head as Pinckney manages to get away from Roper, but tackled to the ground 30 metres, been laid on. Certainly Mr. Holsworth been very gentle about the lay-on. Kelly Shelford caught offside in front of the post. 2 points surely for Keighley. Simon Irving called in to do the kick-in. Simon Irving then with the penalty attempt right in front of the Warrington post. 4 points to nil, Keighley trail at the moment. In spite of the marionette act by Gary Tees there, trying to put him off, that was a safe conversion of that penalty to Simon Irving.
Super Simon.
No Jonathan Davis then to restart for Warrington. 4 points to 2, the scoreline reading in their favour at the moment. Ayres takes the ball on the bounce, looks for the supporting Fleary, but too far away from him to give that ball to with any safety as Robinson gets onto Cochrane. Certainly Keighley missing the running power of the two props, Gately and Hall. Gately in the blood bin, and of course Steve Hall presumably shortly on his way to hospital. Dory to Ramshaw, on to Stevenson. Stevenson driving the ball in, good drive there by Phil Stevenson, pushes Mackie away. Ramshaw to Robinson again. Robinson just half dummies, gets dragged down by the second tackle by Gary Tees, as the last one called by the referee to Dixon. Into the bottom corner. And certainly Harris not having the best of games as far as taking the ball is concerned on the high one. That's the second one he's made a mess of. And all in all, the quality of the take of the high ball by Warrington in this game so far has been pretty poor, to say the least. Scrum just having to wait then until Tees gets there. In there and out. Kelly Shelford 3 paces away from the back of the pack there before the ball had even left the ruck. Martin Wood going on his own from acting half. He's going to have to go on his own because there's no support there, but Ramshaw gets the ball out to Ayres. Ayres skipping through this defence on this right-hand side. There's 6 Warrington defenders there as Ramshaw gets the ball to Robinson. Misses Cochrane. Looked to try and skip through himself, and he's certainly getting plenty of facials in the tackle as Robinson, as Ramshaw goes on his own this time. Offloads to Warrington, to Robinson. Martin Wood picks up the ball. Fleary tackled as he gets that one over the top of his head, and in fact it's a penalty. Penalty for stealing the ball there. Now then, surely that must be a professional foul, stealing the ball. Anything technical in front of the post or in the 20 under pressure area surely is a professional foul and worthy of a 10-minute card. But certainly the instruction has gone out, I do know now, from the hierarchy at Chapeltown Road about the laying on, as we were talking on last week, and the professional fouls certainly about around the play of the ball area as well, is that let a couple of them go before you sin bin, and if there's 3 or 4 in quick succession by one side, then give a yellow card. As Simon Irving converts that one, levels the scores. The yellow card given after the referee has spoken to the captains, I'm told. So once the referee gets fed up of the laying on or whatever, the captains are told, and it's rest period for 10 minutes for somebody probably from that point onwards.
All right.
Well, we've only 4 minutes of the 40 allocated for the first half left, but there was a very, very long period of stoppage time when Steve Hall received that injury, probably 4, maybe 5 minutes. Ayres allowed to get away with what might, certainly some of the Warrington supporters behind that goal there thought was a knock-on. Mr Holsworth indicating it had gone back. As Stevenson gets 25 metres out from his own line. Ramshaw to Robinson, misses out Wood. David Larder comes in support. Ramshaw on to Robinson, finds Fleary in support, down the far flank, in front of the main stand. Grant Dory, I beg your pardon. Dory plays the ball to himself, makes an absolute mess of it. It was the last tackle. The handover takes place at that point. Tees taking that first drive in, at least I think it's Tees. Yes, it is. Barlow to Maguire again, juggles with the ball before securing the possession. Barlow spreads the ball this side to Maloney. Maloney takes on the defence, skipping back inside once more as he goes. Barlow indicating the ball coming to the left, but it went to the right to Mackie, on to Shelford. Shelford out the far side there to centre Rudd, but Rudd tackled in possession. Shelford offloads to Mackie. Mackie just wondering what to do as the Keighley defence lay off him. Jonathan Davis now goes on a foray out the right-hand side, kicks over the top. Keith Dixon takes it on the full, and it looks as though the Bloodbin replacement is ready to come back on the field. Ian Gately wanting to come on. All he's got to do is get David Larder off and he can go straight back on. You don't need permission. The fourth official's there. He's been told Ian Gately can go on. You do not need to go to the touch, judge. Dory driving. Larder's outside him, who's been held back by the shirt was David Larder. It was Chris Rudd pulling Larder's shirt for fun. Certainly professionalism coming into that one, because had Dory been able to get the ball out to Larder, he was in the clear. But that shirt being made 2 sizes bigger now by the way it was being pulled back. David Larder now managed to get off the field. Ian Gately returned. Ball lost. Simon Irvine in the clear. Is Dixon outside him? 30 metres out now. Gately into Robinson. Robinson with the pack of the Cougars hunting on this side of the field. Ramshaw stooping the line. Gives it out to Ayres. Ayres goes round, but he's in touch. Ayres is in touch. The way to the attempted tackle just sufficient to put him into touch. A minute left, but there's all the stoppages, so there's possibly another 4, maybe 5 minutes left. Resulting scrum then. Oh, and it's a breakaway there for Warrington as they come upfield. Euston Harris breaks away. Gets the support out there to Jonathan Roper up the far side. Offloads in the tackle. Out there to winger Mark Forster. Mark Forster ankle tapped there by Andre Stoop. And eventually tackled exactly the same place in the diagonally opposite corner of the field. And what are we doing here? Well, it looks as though Grant Dory has been sent to the sin bin. Mr. Gareth Cochran rather. Mr. Holsworth eventually finding the yellow card. But I have to say, I think that's rather cruel compared to the holding on that's been going on down this end of the field, right in front of the post when the professional foul was given for the last goal that Keighley scored. That was certainly also Warrington a yellow card if Cochran's was, but that's the way of the game as Mackie gets the ball off to Maloney. Maloney on to Shelford. They've got the numbers of Warrington. Out then on the wing. Did the ball go down? The referee said it was forward. The last pass was forward. But certainly Warrington had the numbers there. They've only themselves to blame for not scoring. Well into stoppage time now, of course, but only the timekeepers know exactly how much extra will be added for that Steve Hall injury as Martin Wood breaks out of his own 20. Referee indicating the last tackle, is he? Surely not. Might have just been telling everybody those 5 minutes left as Gately gets the ball from Robinson and breaks into the Warrington half of the field. 3 Warrington markers there, allowed to go unpunished as Pinkney goes for the chip over the top. Andre Stoop picks it up, pushes the ball inside, a knock on surely. It certainly struck the body of Mackie and came forward. And that's a knock on by Cullen. No good Paul Cullen looking round to the touch judge and saying no, it wasn't. It certainly was. One of the best. Referee calling for some attention, just in holding up the clock for us. Attention given to Andre Stoop, injured as he tried to offload that ball, and the ball striking the body of Mackie and coming forward, which I thought might have been a knock-on, but not so. Right on the halfway line, it's Keighley's head and feed for this scrum. Well, 4 points apiece, 2 penalty goals to Simon Irvine. Greg Mackey just drawing in the air into his lungs below us there as he has a little chat with Chris Robinson. Greg Mackey also just enjoying a little bit of a chat with the people in the scratching shed below us, as they're just having one or two things to say to him. Stoop resumes then. Robinson feeds, eventually back underway again onto Martin Wood, onto Ayres. Ayres for the half gap in the centre, but Maloney shuts the shop, and Robinson stepping back inside, ducking under as he tries to get away from those Warrington tacklers, and again a penalty for holding down. Now why is not the yellow card coming out there then, Mr. Holzer? Cochrane had it, so in fact should that Warrington player. If we're having consistency and the yellow card is being given for professional fouls and laying on around the play of the ball, let's keep it going all the time, or not at all. So Simon Irvine opting to go for the shot at goal. It's about 8 metres inside the Warrington half, but of course the wind is behind him, albeit coming across the field from left to right as we look at the posts. Certainly will be the fillip that Keighley will need to go into the break with. Will a 2-point lead. Looks good. Oh, and just drops underneath the bar as Jonathan Davis works his way away from that dead ball line area. A little bit of uncertainty underneath those Warrington posts in defence as to who was going to take the ball and what they were going to do with it, but as Gary Tees gets up to the 10 metres from the halfway mark, we've had 5 minutes of stoppage time now. There has been other bits and pieces of stoppages, as well as the Steve Hall injury. Onto Maloney. Maloney though tackled there as Cullen puts the ball down and knock on. Throws the ball away, does Paul Cullen, in frustration at himself, I think. There has been quite a number of stoppages, and it's not good for continuity of play, that's for sure. One that's nearly one against the head. In fact, it is one against the head. Sanderson it is who gets the ball onto Maloney. Maloney tackled by Martin Wood. Stevenson in on the tackling with Wood there as Barlow gets the ball out now. Over there to Cullen. Inside the Keighley 20 rather. Mackey switches direction. Over the far side, the ball's lost. It went back though. Quite right decision there. The man facing his own post knocked the ball down into the centre of the field there. Warrington looking to break the deadlock, and now as we must be approaching that half-time hooter. Mackey out to Shelford. Shelford shoots the ball out this time. He's going strong though, is Jonathan Roper in at the corner for the try. It's been threatening to come for a long time as they spread the ball quickly, Warrington. Well, maybe I've got the centres wrong way around. I thought that was Roper. I beg, thank you very much, Jonathan Roper.
but that's been threatening for quite some time. Warrington play the ball to one side, quick hands across, stretch the sliding defence to the maximum, provide the extra man, and that's all he had. He had Houston Harris outside him as well with an option that he didn't really need to take. Jonathan Davis then with the conversion attempt as the voice dies. Metres in from touch then as Davis launches that one at the post, but no, not there. There's the half-time hooter.
There you go, folks. That's end of part one. All right.
8 minutes 24 seconds of stoppage time, but the half-time score with that Roper try, Keighley Cougars 4, Warrington 8.
Two for the Cougar experience. All right, boys, 40 minutes. We're going into World War III. All right. Let's hear them shout. Louder! All right, part two.
Second half underway then as Jonathan Davis puts the ball into the bottom right-hand corner. Nick Pinkney picking the ball up, and the news from the dressing room on Steve Hall is not good. Sounds like a double break of the leg. So that's Steve's propping days over for a while until that's repaired. Grant Dory then just short of the halfway line. The Cougars trailing 4 points to 8 following that try on the death on the 8th minute of injury time. Robinson just picks his spot there as to where to put the ball between Davis and Foster. Davis into the centre of the field, files Foster, but Foster's tackled by Martin Wood and Chris Robinson. Goes down. Davis from the acting half-back position to the 20-metre line. Maguire takes the ball on, offers it out, but decides to take it on himself. Barlow onto Shelford. Shelford found Sanderson. I thought Darren Fleary there possibly just going for the interception as he allowed the ball to go. As Mackie now switches inside to Maguire. Maguire taken to ground 10 metres inside the Keighley half. Shelford. The ball inside there to Foster. Inside to Foster from Rudd, but the kick through goes dead direct, so it's a tap restart to Keighley on the 20. Keith Dixon takes the ball and runs straight into the arms of probably the biggest forward on the Warrington side, Maguire. Darren Fleary. 5 metres from the halfway line. Two good drives there by Keighley from that tap 20. Ramshaw. Stevenson breaks into the Warrington half of the field. The referee Holsworth calls the Warrington defence back. Martin Wood out to Irvine. Irvine, whoa, and the number of the amount of defence that Warrington had slid across there was phenomenal. Pinkley tackled Dixon onto Martin Wood. Gately having to take the tackle, but still managed to squeeze the ball out. Robinson taking it as Dixon puts the ball high for the chase.
It's the last one. It's touched by. Back to Stoop. Stoop now runs it back at the defence, puts it over the top for the chase, knocks it forward, and that's a tremendous chase by Keighley. That's the first tackle then, as Warrington driven back towards their own line. Gately and Ramshaw forcing the knock-on. Good pressure play there by the two Keighley forwards, forcing the knock-on from Chris Rudd. Scrum forming then on that 10-metre line. Robinson to feed. Just can't get the ball in for into. And look there at the break from the scrum. Shelford nowhere near the base as Stoop gets the ball out to Pinkney on the far side. Really, Mr. Holsworth's going to have to get a grip of this loose man breaking from the back of the scrum of Warrington before it's whilst the ball's still in the pack. Ramshaw out to Robinson, not the best of play the balls, but Robinson runs round with Gately and runs into trouble. 17 metres. Fleary goes for the gap, 10 metres from the Warrington line. The referee tells them all back on the line, and they take about as much notice of that as they have done so far in this game. The kick goes through. Ayers tries to chase, but he can't, and that's a good chase. But Mr. Holsworth, I think the Warrington players are taking full advantage of him at the moment. He told them all to get back on the line, and it was like telling a 3-year-old to behave themselves when they're miles away from you and they can't hear what you're saying. Took so much notice. Warrington then with the drop out from under the post. Unfortunately, that wind seems to have dropped considerably. It's certainly not rattling round our ears as much as Fleary makes his way back into the Warrington half from that deep drop out by Davis into Cougar territory. Ayres steps back to his right and tries to evade those tacklers. Dory tackled on that 20-metre line by Maguire. Ramshaw onto Robinson. Martin Wood switches to Gately. Gately hauled to the ground there by number 10 Maguire. Robinson, long ball out to Dixon. Dixon has to go back inside because that's the way his movement was taking him. Robinson claws that one out of the air. Martin Wood half through the gap, gets up but taken back down just as quickly as he managed to get onto his feet again. Now Maguire was offside there, surely. Really, Mr. Holsworth, Maguire standing in the Keighley line there, interfering with the ball going across, attracting the vision of the Keighley attackers and allowed to get away with it. Professionalism if I ever saw any. Warrington then spinning this ball fast and wide. Kelly Shelford inside there to Barlow. Barlow half through the gap, half stopped, but eventually brought to ground by Gately as the last tackle's called. Mackie out to Shelford. Shelford gets the ball on there, and in fact it's forced to doing extremely well to take that one. Well, that's the second time the referee's called 5 in two tackles. He must have a funny signal. Maybe he calls 4 as Davis puts a mountain bomb up. Stoop takes it. Chris Rudd injured below us down here, looks like a hip or a kidney injury. But the action's over in the far corner with Andy Ayres. Ramshaw to Gately, a long ball out to Irvine. Irvine's got Dixon inside him. Cochrane tackled on the 20-metre line as Dixon now onto Stoop. That's 5 fingers in the air, 4 fingers and a thumb from Mr. Holsworth. Dixon puts the ball up. The referee says give him 10. And calls it off as it hits the Keighley line. Tees then driving through, hits the 20, gets to the ball off. The ball lost though by Barlow.
Warrington substitution, Bennett on for Rudd.
Bennett replacing Chris Rudd. Referee just holds up play whilst he wants somebody looking at. On the Keighley side, looks like a bit of blood on Ian Gately's face again. Just round the eye there by the look of things. Referee happy with it for the time being, as Robinson feeds that scrum. Irving takes on the defence, and really that's a bit of nonsense by the Warrington physio, taking a player straight across the field. The tactics now surely must be for Keighley to attack where the physio is. Absolute stupidity by Warrington is that. The player's injured, but surely down this side with him, and I know it's a long way around, but that's the way they should have taken him. As it is, they've got away with it. Martin Wood tackle in possession there as Robinson attempts to get through. Cochrane fell off the ball. And I think possibly the question might just have been asked there as wanting a new ball there. Simon Irving says that one's a bit soft. Ten minutes into the second half then, as Simon Irving's fancying his chances of having a pot at the goal, and who can blame him? His record so far this season has been pretty good, to say the least. It's a dozen metres inside the Warrington half. It's probably about 5 or 6 to the left-hand side of the uprights as he looks at it. The wind appears to have dropped considerably. So we wait and see the outcome of this attempt. Certainly giving it plenty, and the crowd behind like it, do they? Oh, and again, just short, but underneath the upright. And Davis managing to squeeze almost 20 metres from the chaser ways. Justin Harris trying to jink his way away. 3 Keighley markers present there. Mr. Holsworth allowing that one to go to. Sanderson breaking into the Keighley half of the field with a good run away from defence. Barlow acting half-back, gets the ball onto Maguire. He's tackled just inside the Keighley half. The hand up again for the last tackle as Davis puts the short one over the top. Robinson takes it safely, and the chasing Davis, assisted by Paul Cullen, does the tackling on Robinson. Martin Wood taking on 3 Warrington defenders on that far side on his own. Pinkney onto Robinson. Fleary driving the ball in. 5 metres from the halfway line. 4 points to 8, Keighley trail. Robinson switches inside to Gately. Gately having to evade the figure of Phil Stevenson as the last one called again. Robinson chips over the top. The chase is on. And touched into touch there by the Warrington winger. Palmed into touch by the winger Mark Forster. A good kick there by Robinson, a good chase also by Keith Dixon. The ball out of the scrum then to Keighley. Irvine, the numbers are there, but the defence is sliding quick. You've got a lot of work on there, Andy Ayres, and he's in! Oh, what a try! Well, I said Andy Ayres had a lot of work on. He certainly had, and how well he fulfilled that commitment. Tremendous try. That's the scores level, and Warrington caught out by their own tactics. The fast ball across the field, the security of the hands, and the wingman doing the finishing, and what finishing that was. Simon Irvine then with the conversion attempt from the touchline side, only about a metre in, looking to put the Cougars ahead for the first time. The oohs from the crowd indicate that the kick is not good.
Cougar growl, all right, let's go.
15 minutes of the second half gone then, as Jonathan Davis lines up to restart. The score's level, and I think that one has really put the fire into this game. The scores are level. I don't think Warrington were expecting anything particular from Keighley in the second half. I rather fancied they thought they might well have burned themselves out in the first half. If they did, they underestimate this Keighley side considerably. Ayres, the try scorer, breaking out of his own 20 and certainly getting plenty of attention as he refuses to go down. Ramshaw to Fleary. Fleary driving the ball in. Tremendous amount of work from Darren Fleary, as the rest of the Keighley pack this afternoon. Cochrane. Tackle to ground some 12 metres from the halfway line. Ramshaw to Gately. Gately tackled over there by Tees. Ramshaw on to Robinson. Robinson again looks for the kick. This time Foster's on the end of it, but running straight back to the waiting Keighley defence. Barlow inside then to Sanderson. Sanderson running across, looking to get away from the arms of Darren Fleary, but not able to do so. Paul Cullen just breaking into the Keighley half. Well, that was a silly penalty to give away because it was the last tackle. Keighley were looking at a possible handover position on the next tackle, or would have been looking at handover on the next tackle. As it is, they're looking for a big call on the defence now, on the 20-metre line where the second phase of the penalty will take place. So he's taking the first drive in. Maguire, he takes the second drive, looking for the set. Mackey standing off to the right. Mackey switches play back to Shelford, and an absolute mess of that one by Jonathan Roper. The idea was good, the execution was poor, as Robinson now looks to step round Paul Cullen, but not able to get round him. Ramshaw to Cochrane. Cochrane jinks to the right as he's brought down to ground. The referee got one finger in the air there. Not sure what that means. That wasn't the first tackle, that's for sure. Gramshaw just decides to take that on his own. The crowd not saying they like it particularly, but this is the last tackle. Forster on the end of it. And Cullen gets the ball away to Maguire, the Australian though, brought down and loses the ball. It's palmed back to Cochrane. Oh, Cochrane, has he taken the wrong option? Inside there to Stoop. Andre Stoop to Simon Irving. Oh, just a metre short, being pushed back down. That's got to be 10 minutes, Mr. Holsworth. 10 minutes in the bin for that, if consistency is right, and there it is. And quite rightly so. Kelly Shelford, it looks like, going for the 10-minute rest as Dixon just pops that ball back into touch to give Keighley an extra bit of width. Ramshaw onto Dory, Dory driving in. Keighley being called to dig into the reserves now to pull a score off and give themselves a lead as Robinson onto Wood. Wood out to Gately, the numbers are there. Andre Stoop steps inside, Andre Stoop scores! Oh boy, Andre Stoop scores. Warrington caught wide again. I don't think my voice is going to last. If it doesn't, you'll just have to make do with the noise from the man on the tannoy. But what a score there. Keighley back in. Keighley in front. 12 points to 8. Warrington not too sure what's happened. And they can thank loose forward Kelly Shelford for that. Simon Irving then, after the excitement dies down somewhat for a minute or two. Crowd hushes. Oh no. No, the boots aren't there this afternoon, unfortunately. And that's what it could come to at the end of the day, but saying that, Warrington have yet to kick there first. And that's the difference in the scoreline at the moment. 2 tries. Ian Gately going back to the Bloodbin for the second visit. David Larder having to come off the bench to replace him for the second time. Can't be the best preparation for that because it's not a prepared substitution. The player having to come on absolutely cold. As Davis plants the ball down into the bottom corner, Robinson lets the ball strike his body and feeds off to the supporting Fleary, who gets almost back to that 20-metre line. Ramshaw to Robinson, on to Ayres. Ayres just loses the footing. So the other substitute there for Warrington on the field, number 15, as Ramshaw onto Larder, David Larder. The ooze come from the crowd. The indication from the referee is nothing, as a messy play the ball there, swept up by Ramshaw. Fortunately, Cochrane picking up as the last tackle comes. Robinson found, puts the ball. Well, I couldn't see whether it was or it wasn't. But certainly the touch judge indicated it went in on the full. As Cullen breaks there and loses the ball. Fleary drops on it. The next tackle will be the first one in this set of 6 as Stoopy now goes back towards the halfway line. Stoop 5 metres from that halfway whitewash. Robinson, long ball out to Martin Wood, onto Cochrane, Simon Irvine. He's got Pinckney inside him. Give it to Pinckney. Nick Pinckney goes. He will lead the race. Nick Pinckney's going. Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh, what a try! Jonathan Davis wiped my boots because he couldn't catch Nick Pinckney. The crowd go crackers here at Cougar Park. Tremendous break there on this side of the field. Nick Pinckney went inside. Simon Irvine it was who created the gap for him. The centre went. He drew the defence. Nick Pinckney turned Jonathan Davis. Jonathan Davis made a valiant attempt to catch him. He did just tap his ankles before he got there. But my words, that was finishing, and finishing in style.
Nick Pinckney! Nico boy!
Simon Irvine makes the 4 into 6 and extends that Keighley lead to 18 points to 8. Well, exactly 25 minutes on the second half gone. Jonathan Davis restarts as Ramshaw to Fleury, and really the last 15 minutes is going to be quite an intense period, and Keighley's nerve will be strongly tested, as indeed will that as Warrington, as Simon Irvine breaks again inside to Ayres. Ayres tackled on the halfway line, and all these points coming for Keighley whilst Kelly Shelford in the sin bin from that transgression on the touchline when he prevented the Keighley player getting up and playing the ball quickly, and that's another penalty to Keighley, therefore holding on to the ankle and putting the player back down to the ground after the tackle had been completed. Dixon puts the ball into touch. Ramshaw, Grant Dorey driving in now, shoulder charge there. Keighley can scent victory here. They're putting everything into this as Robinson finds Stevenson. Stevenson half through those tackles. Ramshaw acting half back. Robinson out to the right hand side, offers the ball, gets it out there to Stoop taken round the shoulder, says referee Holdsworth. I think he's probably right as well, as Larder steps in. 10 metres from the Warrington line. Ramshaw to Robinson. Out then to Martin Wood. Back inside there to Grant Dorey. Dorey nowhere to go but still going there. 2 metres from the line. A drop goal, are we? Robinson's in position. Cool as a cucumber, but charged down. It's back to 1. Move it, Keighley. Andre Stoop out there to Pinckney, is it? Pinckney almost tackled into touch, driven back as he goes, 10 metres back. That gives Keighley, though, the extra bit of room to work in before they hit that Warrington defensive line. Martin Wood going back for that corner. The flashlights of the cameras goes. Ramshaw tries to barge his way over. Martin Wood now out to Chris Robinson. Robinson, though, having to take it back. The supporting player not in attendance for him to pass the ball to. The line's deep now for Keighley. Deep to the left. Ayres takes the ball in. Again, where's the support?
looking to get the ball underneath there to Cochrane, but it's Ayres, Ramshaw, Phil Stevenson, Martin Wood goes for the drop, and it never gets above grass high. And Warrington moving quickly away from that restart. Keighley getting back equally as quick. Paul Cullen on the halfway line. The Cougar cry goes up from the crowd, urging on these Cougar players. Justin Harris, not seen much of him in the second half so far. Barlow gets the ball off to Davis. Davis though tackled 12 metres inside the Keighley half. Barlow out to Maloney onto Sanderson. The last one called by the referee as Warrington spread the ball out the far side. Cullen onto the centre there at that far side. Jonathan Roper loses the ball. Good pressure there by Keighley. Martin Wood away from the first tackle, away from the second, away from the third, away from the fourth. Only the heavy bit beats him there as the ankles have been tapped. A good break there by Martin Wood. Andy Ayres taking play on now for Keighley into the Warrington half. Oh dear me. Indecision there, I think, by Grant Dorey not taking that pass. Went for it, put off everybody else beyond him, but it's just a minor relief, a minor break for both sets of players just to regather themselves while this scrum forms. Warrington get that ball predictably from the scrum as Maloney tries to break through the centre of the field, but well marked there by Martin Wood and Gareth Cochrane. Mackey gets the ball onto the substitute, number 15, whose name I've not got. Out to Harris. Through the gap. I said I've not seen anything of him. You've just seen something of him now. You've seen 4 points of him.
We got Steve Harris for Warrington.
So Justin Harris there. Perhaps spoke too soon and I said we've not seen anything.
Now Justin Harris for Warrington with a try there.
On the half-hour mark, 10 minutes of the game left, plus any stoppages, as Warrington claw back those 4 points. Still the goal, still the conversion and the trying a conversion separating the sides, but of course Jonathan Davis got the opportunity to reduce that just to the 4 points. It's about 3 metres in. But certainly, as soon as Keighley get back to the other end, a drop goal is essential. He's given it a good try there, and it's a good kick.
A good goal there by Jonathan Davis.
So 4 points the difference. Keighley's lock of those 4 points are in at the moment. Ian Gately returned to the fray with a bandage round the head. David Larder takes his play back.
And off comes David Larder. Maguire came on for Gary Tees for Warrington.
Maguire back on, Gary Tees back off for Warrington as Robinson puts that ball high in the air. "20 metres then, clear of the Warrington line as they now try to work their way back downfield. Maguire into the heavier area of the field, takes some pulling down but eventually does go to ground. Lays the ball onto Mackey onto Maloney gets the ball infield to Barlow. I think it's Barlow. No, it's not. It's Kelly Shelford back on, having served his 10 in the bin. So Warrington back to full strength as Sanderson now takes on the Keighley defence. The last tackle called by referee Holzer, 30 metres out. A big kick here from Davis, more than likely, for the chase. Completely diffused. Well, I thought that ball was diffused in touch, and then he went over the dead ball line. Now, surely, once it's taken and his body's on the ground, that is a tap 20. The referee's a bit nearer than we are, that's for sure, but the way I saw that from here was that the ball was totally diffused first. Mackie. That looks like this number 14 substitute. Again, whose name escapes me. Shelford. Tackled and held in the centre of the park, 15 metres from the Keighley line. Out then to the substitute, he's taking the defence on, number 15. And inside to Mackie. Misses out the runners. Maloney across there to Sanderson, is it? Sanderson held just short in that far corner of the field. Davis, in fact. And this is Mackie going to put the ball over for the chase, kicking the ball across, but Simon Irvine knocks the ball down. Well, I don't know. You're facing your own post, you pull the ball down to ground in front of you. Surely that's a backward movement. Not in Mr. Holdsworth, but are we seeing a bit of bending in favour of Division 1, I wonder? Davis dragged into touch. But he can't argue with that one. So then the scrum will form on that 10-metre line. It'll be Keighley's feed here. Robinson wrapped up round the base of the scrum. The referee just showing his socks over the tackle. Maguire tackling with the shoulder there. Stoop in the centre of the field, half through the gap. Ramshaw onto Gately. Gately driving the ball in. Offloads in the tackle to Ayres. Ayres is going up the touchline side. He's got Pinckney inside him. He doesn't need him, does he? Get up, Andy Ayres. Oh, dearie me, he had Pinckney inside. He just couldn't get... How much longer are they going to hang on to that player in by the defence? Martin Wood to Robinson. Move the ball quickly. Andre Stoop out there to Pinckney. Irvine, no, we couldn't see anything, but Simon Irvine, I think, bundled into touch. But certainly it looks as though Andy Ayres may have got his second try as he took on the defence up that touchline side. His ankle was tapped. Shelford out the far side across to Harris. Harris gets the ball away to the number 14. Darren Fleary doing the tackling. 3.5 minutes of actual time left, plus any stoppages added. Keighley still got the 4-point advantage as the last tackle called by referee Holdsworth. Does he? No, he doesn't. It's a peculiar signal Mr. Holdsworth has got, which is telling the player to get up and play the ball. Very confusing with the last tackle signal. Maloney out the far side to Shelford. Shelford through the gap. Forward pass, surely to goodness, but it's gone dead anyway. But surely that ball went forward anyway.
Regal's Regal man of the match today is Keighley's number 7, Chris Robinson.
Well, Chris Robinson awarded the... as we come away from... Fleary. So then, Mackie with the ball, the chip for the chase. Dixon's there. Keith Dixon recovers it. And Keighley just need to hold secure to this ball now for 6. Waste the tackles. Oh, and that's not what we want, Keith Dixon. Ball security is what's wanted. There's only 2 minutes left. Respect the possession for that set of 6, and it would have been a valuable minute worked away from those 2. As it is, it's pressure and it's tackling time for Keighley. Referee said he's not happy with the way the scrum was formed. Mackie feeds this time. It's in, it's out. It's on to Maloney in the centre. That's 1 tackle expired. Out then over the far side. Cullen trying to duck underneath the tacklers as he goes. The ball being called to be sent out this side as Mackie switches back. Davis is there. Oh, Davis is going to score, is he? Yes. Well, Warrington are out of the fire. And I think I've got to say it, I'm sorry to say it, but that's Keith Dixon's problem. He should have respected possession as it was. He knocked on. Warrington took the scrum. Davis got the try. So with less than 30 seconds to go then of actual time, Warrington look as though they've escaped out of jail into the semi-final, and my words, they'll never get a luckier win, assuming that that's what they're going to do. The scores are in fact level at the moment. We are making the assumption that Davis will kick the goal. There it is, 2 points clear.
By Jonathan Davis.
$20 points to 18, Warrington lead. Robinson starts, the Cougars chase. Houston Harris on the end. There's the final whistle. Well, the Cougars can be very disappointed in that. Warrington can consider themselves extremely lucky. Chris Robinson completely shattered on the halfway line there, consoled by Maloney. Chris Robinson got the man of the match, but he must be wondering what he'd got to do to get the victory. He'd seen it there. Jonathan Davis commiserates with him. Totally shattered, totally devastated, as the rest of the side are. But there we go. That's the way of life. Tremendous fight. Looked as though Keighley were there in the semi-finals. As it is, Warrington go through by the skin of the teeth.
We'll certainly meet again, don't worry about that. Right to remind you now that the London game will be on Wednesday, 7:30. Keighley versus London Broncos this Wednesday.